Welcome to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where you can learn and be inspired by real-world examples of how technology is transforming businesses and reshaping industries in a language everyone can understand. Here is your host, Neil C. Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast. I figure we're at that time of the year where everyone starts getting itchy and saying things like "New Year, new me," and change their mindset for a few days or even weeks. I don't know what it is about this time of year that we all start thinking, next year I'm going to try and do things differently. Rather than carry on with the old way of doing things and complaining about them, I'm going to explore new ways of working and leverage technology to make my life easier and boost my productivity. And one of the things that really drives me nuts in this world, and I suspect yours too, is email. I mean, does the mythical island of Inbox Zero even exist? And if it does, and if any of you arrive at that island of Inbox Zero, please send me a postcard when you get there just to let me know if it's real or not. But for everyone else, you probably have Outlook for work emails, Gmail for personal emails, a Slack for team collaboration, Skype for meetings, and the list goes on and on and on. And no wonder we all get frustrated flicking through all those variety of apps. But I recently came across a solution called Spike. And I found them when I read a user review that said, what I love about Spike is that it has the functionality of modern day chats, for example, Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp on top of email. And by doing so, Spike has done a really good job of getting the features that they need from WhatsApp into email, almost like a business chat. So it creates this kind of best of both worlds, but with Zen-like simplicity. Now, on reading that review, I thought I need to find out more about this. And I quickly learned that Spike is a do-it-all conversational email that allows people to chat, collaborate, and manage your calendar and get everything done in one single app. So I thought to myself, it's the perfect time of the year to try and get them on the podcast to talk about the kind of work that they're doing. But enough from me. Let me take you on a trip all the way to Tel Aviv, where one of the co-founders of Spike is waiting to speak with us today, and hopefully teach us a little bit more about Spike and how it's solving that universal frustration of constantly flipping through apps just to communicate and get information that we need. So let's get him on the show now. So a massive warm welcome to the show and for joining me all the way in Tel Aviv. But can you tell the listeners a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Sure. Thank you, Neil, and thank you for inviting me and having me here. My name is Dvir Ben-Aroya. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Spike, which is a Tel Aviv-based, very interesting and popular startup. And I will explain you, in a few words, what is Spike about. Spike basically is a modern conversational email that unifies your workspace in one inbox. In the last 20 years, if I may say, email didn't change much, and it is time will be someone that will really reinvent or will add some invention for the most popular communication tool that we all have as our identity tool, which is our own email. And that's exactly what we built in the last couple of years, where Spike is the first and the world's first multi-platform conversational do-it-all email that provides as a unified solution chat, collaboration, notes, tasks, calendars, video and audio, and it's all based on people and it's from the same interface. It means that you don't need to jump and to consume additional silos applications.
And I think for most people listening to our conversation today, they will have a whole range of communication tools which certain teams or colleagues prefer. And you end up juggling 8 or 9 or even 10 different apps just to communicate before you even look at doing your daily job. So when I came across Spike, what put you on my radar is how it's described as a one-of-a-kind platform that actually combines emails, chat, calls, team collaboration, and tasks, but all in one place. And that, for me, that kind of reflects the way that we all communicate today in a digital workspace. But can you set the scene and tell everyone listening a little bit more about exactly what it is and also what makes it unique from all the other solutions out there?
Definitely. Look, we all, in the digital world, we're all trying to be more productive and more efficient, especially these days with all the ongoing discussion of the workspace and how declutter your inbox and other communication. And there are like dozens of tools out there. But when you think about all the the productivity and collaboration tools that all of us has, they are all more or less silos. It means that they're like enclosed environment. You need to adapt them. You need to register to them and to have one email client or maybe two email clients, and you need to have one to do and one notes taking application and one for CRM and one for email marketing. And sometimes instead of making you more productive, it's just adding more confusion and making the business and the consumer more bombarded by so much flows of information. We at Spike, we built something which is fundamentally belongs to you, which is your email. Email, and not so many people knows about it, Neil, is not belongs to anyone. It belongs to everybody. No company is basically dominating on controlling the email protocols. It's open source and it's based on open protocols. And that's why I call it a non-silo solution of communication. Because you can use G Suite, I can use Office 365, and the communication between us will remain open and aligned. Unlike any other application that you will use, starting from Slack or Zoom or Skype or any else application, any other application, that both of us needs to be on the same application in order to communicate, right? And so what we took and what we built in Spike, which is very unique, by the way, unlike any other email solution out there that has not been changed so much in the last 15 years, is taking all the benefits of something that we all very much like and love, which is the instant messaging and all the method of communication of messaging, plus all the benefits of emailing. And the benefits of emailing, that it's open, it's great for internal and external communication, it's archived, it's very searchable, and basically we combine them together to provide a one unified multi-platform tool that helps you to get more things done and helping you to be more responsive in real time. It acts like instant messaging, but basically it's your regular email, and on top of it, you are getting additional services. And that's what makes us very unique and what makes us very popular in terms of combining most of the services that each one of us needs, if we're talking as consumers and as prosumers, like professional consumers or micro businesses. It combines, as you just mentioned, chat and collaboration and calls and tasks and everything in one place and on top of your existing email. That's what makes Spike so popular, and people are inviting each other to join and to experience it.
And like I said a few moments ago, that modern digital struggle has seen us all juggling Outlook for work emails, Gmail for personal emails, a Slack for team collaboration, maybe Trello for their boards there, and Skype or Zoom for client meetings. We all go through this daily struggle. But I'm curious, where did the idea for Spike come from? Was it that struggle, or was it something completely different that inspired you to create Spike?
We just, that's exactly, as you just described, that's exactly the confusion that is going on in the market for all of us, as I said, for consumers and for businesses. And when we woke up in the morning and said, hey, there is one tool that everybody has, which is his email. In the digital world, we had like two identifiers, or two major identifiers. One is your telephone number, and the second one is your email address. No matter if you're a consumer, it's your email, and if you're a business, it's basically domain and email. And you need to keep it because those are your assets. On the other hand, the young generation, and I guess we will touch this generation Z and X afterwards, but the young generation, they don't know anything about email. All their communication consumption is based on instant messaging. The reason that it's so much popular and so much nice to use, because compared to other technologies and communication methods, instant messaging is very human, is very friendly, it's unofficial, it's straight to the point, and it's much more fun to use. So think about a young entrepreneur or a young freelancer who just started his business. He is heavily relying on email because this is the core of his communication. He doesn't know much about Slack and Trello and Asana and Monday and many other applications out there. And he doesn't know how to connect them. He's just relying on his email. And once we provided them with something which is much more modern, which is acting and behaving like conversational, real-time, human collaboration tool on top of your existing email, and making your email, instead of looks like and behave like the outdated Gmail or Outlook, which they're all like very popular and very nice applications, but in the end of the day, you didn't see a lot of innovations going on there. And what we brought, and once you will experience it, you see that people are basically chatting with you, and it's your email. The email acting as a chat, and you can do groups and collaboration. And instead of now jumping to Zoom and Hangouts for additional silos application, you can use it inside the same Spike platform. And the reason for that, because we are very much focusing on people. And instead of having a big list of threads like in a regular email client, we made all the experience to be based on people. And once it's based on people, you have kind of a real-time communication with one recipient or group of people, and it's very easy to use. So we woke up in the morning and we said, hey, it's really about time to reinvent and modernizing email to adjust to today's best practices and usage. It should be more human, people-focused, unified with all the other services, and that's what we created. So today there is a lot of other popular services for businesses like Slack and Teams, and we will talk about it in length in a few minutes. But basically, you can get to the same level of services with the same functionality and more via your existing email. You just need to use Spike on top of your G Suite or Gmail or Outlook or Office 365 or any IMAP, and then you will have the full experience of conversational modern communication.
And what I love about the story behind Spike is how you've created this solution to a universal problem that every single person listening to us today will have come across, and actually united all those tech tools and put them into one place. But I'm curious, what are your biggest challenges in creating a solution like Spike and putting it out there? Is adoption the first one?
Yeah, it's a good point, because yes, adoption is one of them. And because the biggest challenge when we're talking about email is that there is no one best practice how to use email. Each one of us, you and me and many others are using our email, our assets differently. There is one who's doing, managing his inbox by read and unread, archiving, folders and tags. Each one has his own best practice. We built Spike after a lot of thinking and development to be the most versatile solution that can be used by almost any user to help him or her to get things done without jumping between silo apps. So the biggest challenge, or one of the biggest challenges, is really to educate the people and to introduce them. Yes, continue to use your email as your prime communication tool. Yes, you should have the WhatsApp and the iMessage and the Facebook Messenger for socializing. But once you're talking about business, concentrate on what is the most robust system, which is owned by you, which is your email. Spike basically gives you all the ability to make it modern, real-time, chat-like, that everybody loves to consume. So this is, how to educate the people to start to use something that behaves a bit different in terms of emails. This is one of the challenges. And we're also, one additional challenge that I can say about is how to get to the millions of people. And for that, we invested a lot of creativity and product usability to make the product very much viral and based on word of mouth. How can people basically can collaborate with each other and inviting each other to the community of Spike? For that, we're using a very successful go-to-market and virality tactics inside the product, but also outside the product. And since we launched like a year ago, the Spike multi-platform offering, we see a huge adoption and a very fast growth of users. And most of them, like 95% of them, are coming by word of mouth without acquiring and paying to any user. And that's what we're very proud of.
And one of the reasons I'm excited to get you on here today is it almost feels like perfect timing, because we're at the time of year where the idea of decluttering your inbox is going to sound so appealing to people listening that are dreaming of reaching inbox zero and starting 2020 afresh. So for those people that are going to be inspired to take action and start the new year with something completely different that's going to help their productivity, Can you help them visualize and understand how it works and how to get the most out of Spike from the moment that they land on your website?
It's a great question and great expression of inbox zero. Yes, there is a lot of trends today about inbox zero. Let's declutter the inbox. Let me just get rid of all the messages that I get. Yes, and as I said, many are aiming for inbox zero. But what is more important, much more than the inbox zero, for us as a company, as a vision, as a strategy, is to declutter your endless threads that are usually landing in your inbox without any context, right? So you will open your Gmail, you will see list of emails. Sometimes you're CC'd and BCC'd. You don't know the context. It's kind of a broken communication. And that's why we invented what we call the people mode. Because once you are collecting messages based on people, you can get all your conversations organized with real people or groups. So your inbox and messages are focused on the people you are communicating and collaborating with, instead of having broken list of very endless threads. So the inbox zero is a nice trend, but the majority of the people who are aiming to be more productive, not just because of the inbox zero, the inbox in Spike is automatically, for example, once you register to Spike and the messages and your emails started to be loaded into the platform, the first thing that you see that the inbox is basically divided automatically via our AI, and it's split between two kinds of inboxes. One, we call it priority inbox, and the second one is the other inbox. And in priority is all the messages that you need to focus on, while where in the other, we basically landing all the non or less important messages and emails that you have, like all the spams and all the newsletters and all the e-commerce, all the things that you don't need really to focus on your daily job and just get it or get to it when you want. And in the priority, you have everything which is much more important for you to get things done. And this lets you to see important emails first and make you, from our perspective and our users' feedback, much more efficient in the way that you are managing your communication.
And what kind of feedback have you received? Do you get to hear feedback stories from people that have adopted and gave Spike a try?
Definitely. And we have like tens of thousands of active users, and we're growing every month, as I said, via virality with additional tens of thousands of users. And the feedback are very encouraging. Most of our users are really in love and addicted to the platform. That's what I said at the beginning of the call, both to you. Just try it. Once you will try and give it like a few hours and days, and you will understand how it behaves, you will be addicted and say, hey, how come that no one really thought about it sooner? Because that's the kind of feedback that we are receiving from our users. And you can go and read it in the app stores, the reviews that they are giving us, and in other comparison sites. And we feel very confident that this is the direction that communication should be going forward. Not just to have one messaging platform for your internal communication like Slack, not to have one platform that you are adapting for your CRM, not to have one platform for your socializing. You have your core communication asset, which is your email. Leverage it, modernize it, making real time, make it conversational, make it human based on people. That's how communication should look like. When I'm talking with the head of Gmail, or even very senior people at Slack, and very, very senior, and the product owners of teams of Microsoft, they're all really overwhelmed once they see what we created at the adoption of users, and they telling us, if email should have been created today, it should have been looked like what in the area of what you are creating. Conversational, collaborative, unification of other services which are mandatory for the use of the users. So that's part of the feedback that we are receiving, and we're very happy with.
And analysts have been predicting the end of email for years. And you did mention a few moments ago how the generational divide and how Gen Z, etc., don't use email as much. But as Gen Z enters the workplace, is our relationship with email going to change, do you think?
It's a very good question. And I truly believe that email will always remain. There's so many people who try to kill or to eliminate the email. Just to remind you, a few Slack first login was no need for email anymore. And apparently they just acquired an email company because they understood that if they want to expand not to be just an internal communication platform, but also external. You need something which is more open than a silo. Or even, chatbots will kill the email. I saw it several times in the past. Or Facebook Messenger will replace email, but no one really replaced email. On the contrary, email is in the trend of growing. All of us has email, sometimes or usually even more than one account, one for personal, one for business, or sometimes multiple for personal, not just because we use email so actively with all these accounts, just because, as I mentioned, we need it as an identification in the digital world. So that's why I truly believe that email will remain, as it is one of our unique digital assets, as I explained. And more than that, it doesn't belong to any company or authority, so it's very easy to continue to have your email for ages. Generation Z first meets email usually once they're applying to college or when they start to work, and even then, a few minutes after they just received the corporate email from their employer, they are jumping back to the instant messaging. With Spike, there is no need for that, because once you have your email, no matter if it's your corporate email or your personal email, once you install Spike on top of it, then it's access instant messaging. And you can, communicate and collaborate and inviting others and send gifts and making video calls and makes to-dos and sharing notes for meetings, everything you can do with your existing email. And that's why I believe that email will continue to lead all the revolutions of anything which is regarding communication. There always will be some other silos, complementary services, especially for the business use. But we at Spike, we're targeting our users as prosumers, freelancers, consumers, new doers, like people who are just starting and initiating their businesses, everybody that heavily relying on email and needs to be more productive and get things done.
Sounds like you're going to be incredibly busy with Spike, but I've got to ask, are there any other problems that you would like to solve out there with technology in the future? Is there any other niggling problems that you'd like to solve?
You know what is the reason? Many people and many journalists and also users are asking me, what is the reason that you're waking up in the morning? So many companies tried to reinvent the email or to change the email. And, for us, it's very simple. We really, but very frankly and deeply, waking up in the morning every day to connect people and make their lives easier and simpler. And the reason for that, because today in the digital revolution, we're so much bombarded with so many declutter silos applications and data flow. Think about a small business that received a message via email and he replied via WhatsApp. And then he sent a message via Facebook Messenger. He wants it to be responsive. It's very confusing. And we want to help these people to be more, how should I call it, like to reduce the noise, to get things done in a simpler way in one unified place or workspace, which we called it, and the enjoyable experience of Spike.
Fantastic. Well, before I let you go, could I just ask that you remind everyone listening of where they can find Spike online and also contact your team if they are left with any questions after listening to our conversation?
Sure. We're a very open company, and as being conversational email, we really like to have more conversation with users and chat. And Spike is commercially available on Apple App Store or Google Play and can be downloaded freely. And if you want to use also the macOS, the desktop application, the macOS or the Windows application, and even the web interface, just go to www.spikenow.com. Just enter your email and the rest will automatically happen there. So it's a very nice experience. I'm really recommending all consumers out there who are having problems with their personal and business emails, and especially, young entrepreneurs and freelancers and prosumers, just use it. Just try it. It's for free. You will be addicted to it because you will feel so much calm and so much fun once you are using it.
Excellent. Well, I always say at the end of every episode that technology works best when it brings people together. But what I love about what you're doing here is you're actually solving a universal problem with technology and actually uniting tech tools too to help people be more productive, to increase productivity, which is a fantastic thing. So a huge thank you for coming on and sharing that story with me today. And we'd love to see you again next year and continue that journey with you. But have a happy holidays and a huge thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Neil. I'm likewise wishing you and all the listeners a happy holidays and happy new year. Thank you for having me.
The ways in which we interact as humans are constantly evolving. But email, the most dominant form of contact in today's world, has not adapted to this fast-paced communication of the 21st century. So from that point of view, Spike seems to be this one-of-a-kind platform that combines emails, chats, calls, team collaboration and tasks all in one place. And if I sit back in my chair here, that reflects how we all communicate today in a digital workspace. And the traditional way of going through our emails is beginning to feel incredibly dated and out of touch with this digital world that we're in. So anyone who is constantly flipping through apps will know all about how time-consuming and annoying it can be. So the question I'd like to ask you all as we prepare for a new year and a new decade is, will you be checking out Spike? And if you do check it out over the holiday season and it helps you, or if you find any niggles or areas of improvement, whatever it is, please, I implore you, remember, come back and report back. Not just to me, but to this daily tech podcast community that we've built here, where we share these conversations and learn from each other every single day. So please, email me, techblogwriter@outlook.com, tweet me at Neil C. Hughes, you can get me on Instagram, LinkedIn, everything's pretty much at Neil C. Hughes. But it's time for me to grab some chocolate treats and a glass of something to help me unwind in my new slippers and Christmas jumper. So a big thank you for listening as always. I really appreciate you, not just for tuning in every day, but also for over the holiday season. I appreciate you've all got bigger and better things to be doing than listening to me in your earballs. So enjoy the rest of the holidays. I appreciate you all. And until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thank you for listening to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast with Neil C. Hughes. Remember, technology works best when it brings people together.